All right. So as we were saying, the point with the second brain is a few things, right? First, the whole point of the brain is, let me scroll down. So the first point of the brain is one, it's cheaper, it's faster, and three, it's smarter, right? So why is it cheaper? The reason it's cheaper is because instead of conjuring up a whole thought, like I was telling you in the text earlier before the recording, instead of conjuring up a whole thought based on just whatever it thinks, it can go ahead and follow a path because you've already made memories and a good knowledge base based on everything that you care about. And often if you have a business and you always deal with the same thing, it's not like you're always going to be updating exactly what happened unless it's new news, right? Most of the context is going to stay the same. So as you build that second library once, it is cheaper for your Claude to access that memory because it's able to already diagnose what you're talking about and basically all your preferences because you made those notes. That's why you take good notes. So it's cheaper because no new thoughts unless needed. Like Claude doesn't have to think. Claude doesn't have to look anything up unless it needs to. It's faster because, like we said, it has links and boundaries next to everything. So if you look at Obsidian, all of these thoughts, for example, are linked to other thoughts. So this one, this Angel platform, is connected to this node over here, which is the WAT framework, and those ones connect. So it's able to essentially just follow that grapevine instead of, again, just shotgunning into nothingness what it might think of what you're trying to talk about, probably just based on the context of that thread. So it's faster because it follows knowledge threads. And it's smarter because it's your curated info. Like you collected that info. Let's say you collect really good articles that you like, or you actually review your journal, or you talk to your AI, you talk to your Claude all the time, whatever AI you're connecting it to. Then you're refining your notes all the time, and that's partially what I'm going to be showing you. But this video is pretty much just the overview structure of it all. But it's smarter. It's your curated info, and every time you learn more or improve something, you just add it back to here, and it gets smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter. Right? So how does Obsidian actually work? Right? So in this video, we're actually going to talk about a two-part thing. So I'm going to give my whole system structure for how we're actually running our business DeskWolf at the moment. We bought yearly plans, so that basically just motivates me to simply commit. We're not using anything else but this exact system for the whole rest of the year unless something crazy happens. So there's two parts of the system. There's part one is the brain of the system. It's the second brain, your second brain more specifically, but you can download mine if you want. Part two of this is the project management. Right? So one, I have a code name for it. So essentially what I like to call it is Bunshin, and that's like my little code name. That means clone. It's a clone of my brain. And then for project management, I like to call it Gambate. It's fun for me. It keeps me like interested in my own work. So I actually look forward to my own work by doing this kind of thing, but you do whatever you want. Gambate just means do your best. So that's where I actually manage all of the to-do items. One is for knowledge only. This means facts, like places. Let me just go fast. People, things, like books, things you've learned, references, right? Just straight up knowledge blocks, knowledge only. And in the project management one, it is tasks only, right? Tasks and action items only, essentially.
Okay, like do this, do this, do this.
Exactly. Because knowledge is stable,
Okay. Yeah.
doesn't really change, right? If you found truth or you keep refining truth. Right? You don't want to make a new note about how to talk to restaurants every time in a whole different like section of your brain. No, you're going to keep improving that one piece. You're going to keep adding more pieces to that one piece of knowledge. You're not going to like start a whole new branch over here also about restaurants. No, you want to combine that piece of knowledge and just keep adding to that one branch. Essentially, that's what your second brain is for. So truth doesn't really change. It's stable unless you just keep refining it until you get closer to the truth of whatever it is you're talking about. For me, I set it up with something I'm very familiar with. You can use whatever you want, but I've always been familiar with 4 pillars, which is health, wealth, love, happiness. So in my brain, I always go health, what it has to do with my real life health, and that's usually like my diet, sleep, exercise, pretty much, right? And then there's wealth, there's my personal finances, my businesses, and like, I don't know, like my projects or like ideas, projects, whatever it is, like whatever you want there, You could have like credit here, finance, whatever it is that you choose. And then you have, for me, I have love, and then I have happiness. So love is friends, family, romance, and then happiness is like my hobbies, like my interests, just whatever I want to do, just my joys in life, right? And I also have my own category that I added that I made called wisdom, because I feel like wisdom is nice because like it's just a nicer place to store random facts. Like if I'm studying Rome or something, or if I'm studying Japanese, like where does that really go? Yeah, I could go into hobbies, but it's really just wisdom. So I consider more like skills, just random facts that I want to collect throughout my life, essentially, and just like experiences, memories, type of thing, right? I added another section as well as I continue to develop it, one that I call people. So this one is useful. I debated for a long time. It's up to you. You could put people under love, essentially, but it's like it's separate for me. I see the love category more as like This is how to build a good relationship. This is how to keep friends for a long time. This is how to, keep a good relationship with your family and remembering their birthdays. Stable facts, essentially. But to me, it's close, but it's not quite the same as people, where this is my Rolodex. These are literally all of my contacts that I know, who are all my clients, who are all, like, I call it Dunbar. So there's only like 150 people that you can know, like, in your everyday life. It's hard for you to keep track of literally every single person you've ever ran into. So Dunbar's number is like your closest best friends, your coworkers, your immediate family members, not your entire bloodline, that type of thing. So your 150, who's your 150, who are like your clients, who are just people of interest, celebrities, idols you look up to, stuff like that. Your teachers, mentors, whatever category you want. You'll see mine in a second. So what this does is create pillars, major branches that my brain can essentially latch onto. So going back on to the original thing, you have your first part is your second brain. This doesn't really change. Those pillars I just showed you don't really change. You just refine it more and more over time. The part two part is the project management. The reason why I had to split this up, I really wanted to just use Obsidian only and just combine it all in one. But what happened was it's just not built for that. So the project management part is good for external team members, right? So if I want my team, my sales guy, my team, my developer, whoever it is, to see what I'm thinking and give them tasks and deadlines and that type of stuff, it doesn't really make sense to have that in my second brain, because this is like stable truth that doesn't change. But project management is changing all the time. So external team members, also rich docs. I'm going to tell you why in just a moment. We'll come back to that. In general, just like timelines, you basically get the idea. I'll say like to-do lists and like Kanban. So like, in Trello, when we move the card and you drag the card to done, in progress, feedback, whatever it is, right? So that's those Kanban boards and stuff like that. So it's just a lot better. So what we decided to use is ClickUp. I debated every single tool on the market. I swear I did, from Notion, like literally every single one. I don't scroll through this too much because there's probably something sensitive and I'm too lazy to blur it out. But this has essentially spaces. So these are the different projects that we are doing, the different things that we're currently interested in, and it's able to house that nicely. The reason I chose ClickUp is because they're very AI native, so it integrates perfectly with Claude. So Claude is able to talk to ClickUp and do literally everything inside the app. Check boxes, add due dates, assign people, this and that. We actually got the yearly plan, so we got a really nice deal. It's like $220 or something for the yearly plan, but we got a deal for like $168 for the yearly plan. So just click around. It was like a little button before I checked out. On the plan before that, it was the middle plan I was gonna get, but there's a little offer. It was like, hey, $2 more. So look for it if it's still there when you watch this. But we got a year plan, so that commits us to using this for our project management tool. Because I know deep down in my head, it doesn't matter deep down in the day, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you use. Just gotta use it. But I like ClickUp because it's AI native. My mentor uses it, so I mean, if it's good enough for him, then it's probably good enough for us, right? So that being said, you can see how those two splits are made. Really quick, I just got to cover. So it's like, okay, if Obsidian is on your local computer, which I'm going to cover that right now, how do you sync it? How do I get on all devices? The reason I chose Obsidian over a different solution like I had, this is Trillium. This is a different app. It's similar to Obsidian. What's up?
That's what you had before.
Yeah, this is what I had before. And I really wanted to commit to this because this was like basically the same idea. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it because it's old now, but this was the same thing. Knowledge on this side, to-do list on this side. I was trying it, but the problem I ran into is I can't sync with everything. This is local only on my computer only. Well, Obsidian is basically the same thing. It's also local only, but the way that they fix that is they actually do have a sync feature. So if you go to sync over here, you can connect it to all devices, and it's local end-to-end encryption. Sorry, not local end-to-end encryption, but it's just end-to-end encryption, where essentially it's private to just you. So only your devices can see it, not even the company themselves can see it. I like that fact that I heard where the founder himself doesn't even know how many people have downloaded the app, because it's that private, right? It's that secure. So everything just literally, they estimate it's like 5 to 10 million people have used Obsidian, but they have no idea really. So it's literally just on your phone, your computer. I put it on my laptop. You can see it on the camera here. I put it on my phone. I put it on my PC. Anywhere that I go, I have my second brain with me on any device. I can log into some random computer in Japan or wherever, and I'll have my brain. It's there. Never without the brain. You have everything all in one place at all times. Anytime you make an edit to it, if I make an edit to it right here, right now, I'll see that on my laptop, like instantly. I'll see it on my phone instantly. Like, you just gotta hit refresh at least, That's it. So you carry your brain with you everywhere you go. ClickUp is perfect because they are fully accessible, meaning it's AI enabled, it's on mobile, it's on desktop, your team members could see it. You don't have to get the year plan, but we did, so whatever plan you're on, you could still invite your team members to see it, so people are able to see everything, all the tasks in one place. So really quick, the video's getting long, but just to end out the video, how do we organize the ClickUp? So the way we sorted that out is through departments. So I have these departments. Just for as long as I've been doing the whole business thing, I always kind of bucketed businesses in these departments. You can use whatever you want. It's probably different for you, but I imagine the buckets kind of being like admin tasks, like for the executives, finances, legal, stuff like that. The branding, what are people saying? What's your first impression? What's your last impression? What do people say behind your back? What is your design, your aesthetic, your mission, vision, right? All your branding things. Marketing, everything to get up to a sale, like generate traffic and generate interest before the point of a sale, which is a more focused moment, even if that's in person and you're actually like talking to them in a meeting, or you're right in front of them, cold approaching. That could be a Zoom meeting, Or if you're not even interacting with them directly, that could be your landing page. So I consider the sales funnel, that's why they call it sales funnel, that literal one page to be sales, not marketing, because it's time for them to what? Take out their wallet. That's how you know the difference. Follow-ups after and all the lead-up actions before that, that's marketing, left and right. But that focus moment is sales, that sales page. So anything that has to do with sales, your script, conversion mechanics, whatever it is like that. And then the fulfillment. I kind of bucket onboarding here. I didn't want to make a whole another section just for onboarding, but you can. I consider onboarding a part of fulfillment, but how do you actually deliver on what you promised? How do you actually give them what they paid for? And then we have offers as well. Theoretically, I'm going to move that. That should actually be higher up if we were to go in order here, because offers is what is it that you're actually selling. And there's a whole, that could be a whole video on its own, how to make a really good offer, guarantee, mechanics, market research, all that good stuff. The dream outcome. Alex Ramosi, if you're watching the video, you probably already know about it. So check out the book. You have the offer, you fulfill on that offer, and then if you get those sales, then what happens? You have accounts. So these are the different accounts. So I like to sort mine by business, and then they kind of each have their own department. And then since it's connected to Claude, I go ahead and just tell Claude, hey Claude, here's everything that I'm dealing with. Add it to my ClickUp, add the to-do actions to my ClickUp, sort them into the right pillar. And if it's a fact, a knowledge piece, something I learned, then you send it to Obsidian instead, where we'll reference it in the right pillar. So these same 7 pillars also exist inside of the Obsidian. So if I look up like, we go pillars, I know it's a lot in here, but if I go wealth, businesses, and I go like Deskwool, for example, look at that. There's the admin one, the branding one, offers one, the same thing, right? But the difference is these are facts about it, how to build a brand, not to-do items like we need to make a logo, right? Completely different. One's a to-do item, one's a knowledge piece. So I repeat myself enough. That's literally it. That's the whole video. If you like this, subscribe for more. Whatever the outro is, just click whatever button we tell you to click. Thanks. All right, I'm editing the video, and I realized I didn't talk about this one thing, so I'm just going to explain to you guys really fast the journal and having an import folder. So what I mean by that is you can have something that you treat almost like an inbox, because I realized that, you could be using Claude, but you don't want to be using AI all the time to put in a single note. Sometimes you just want to use the journal just with your own 2 hands, right? So what you could do is create up something like this raw folder right here. And inside of this raw folder, you basically just have a mindset or an instruction you give to your Claude so it knows what to expect. But inside of this raw folder, you could call it inbox, whatever you want. This is a good place to add notes that are just, I'll dump this in here, boom, so it's under that folder. And I'll just be like, my dog Scruffy, whatever it is, right? He's a Jack Russell Terrier, right? That doesn't go anywhere. Or at least if I'm in the moment, I just want to jot something down. I might not know exactly what pillar and exactly what folder, right? Look at all these folders, right? It gets crazy really fast. So I don't know exactly where to put it. So instead, I could just put it inside of this raw folder. And what you can do is 2 things. Later on, you can go ahead and just move it to where it needs to go. Or you can give more context, write more in here, give it more information, and essentially then tell your Claude, your code, to, hey, move this to the folder that you think it would go in best. And remember, you could always use plan mode to see where it's going to do it first. Or if you trust it or you don't care, you could just bypass permissions and let it cook, right? So that's the raw folder. This could be anything. Dump big notes, short notes, whole articles, whatever it is. Organize it later. The collection part is a different part of our brain than the organizing part, and the retrieval part is completely different. So next is journal. So I also have this journal set up where I like to tell my Claude to, hey, scan all of my notes and order them in a time basis, in time order, right? So take the events that have happened and create previous journals that mark events on those dates. So this is the day I started my company. This is the day I created Angel. This is the day I made this automation, this content engine. This is the day I signed this client, whatever it is. If it's event time-based, then it goes backdated in the journal. So you're able to go and look at that entry essentially and be like, okay, boom, what happened on January, Thursday, this time, right? You can look through that and learn that way. And I also do recommend journaling yourself. So there's a button in Obsidian where if you click right here, open today's daily note, you click this. If it already exists, then it'll just open that real quick. But if it doesn't, then it'll just make that note to today's date, and it's super, super clean. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, it's just really clean. So definitely recommend making the journal and having like the time log here, because the reason why the journal doesn't go in the ClickUp, because it's not a to-do, you're not doing anything. And remember, we said stable information goes into the second brain. So what happened in the past is stable information. You can only refine that further. So this actually belongs in your second brain, not in your ClickUp, which is a mistake I made for a very long time, mixing these tools and apps, and it just got overwhelming. I ended up with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 apps, mind maps, all kinds of stuff, instead of just 2, where we got it down pat and we're able to actually get stuff done. So that's the edit. Another post edit, this one's a lot shorter, same exact idea as the thing with the brain with the journal, but instead in to-do as well. I recommend having something like an inbox here and just having like a quick capture folder. So just quick things you need to do. So for example, I need to edit the second brain video. So, which is the video you're watching right now. I don't feel like organizing it in the right folder. I don't feel like wasting tokens, giving it to Claude. So I'm just going to add it here right now, and we'll organize it later in a batch process. So super easy that way. This is exactly how I recommend you do it. This is exactly how I'm essentially going to force my entire team to do it. So if you're a team member, you know what to do now.